inside, using social media is not the only thing you're doing. There's still plenty of other things that you can do, like reading or drawing or playing an instrument or something like that. And those are all activities that can be done inside that the parents can kind of direct their teens' activities towards.
So you said that parents will allow their teens to play outside. So parents aren't driving bedroom culture.
I'm not sure that's true.
Okay. And also, you talked about how there are a lot of other things to do, but playing an instrument is not addictive. Social media is. I don't know anyone who's addicted to playing the piano.
This is true, but I just feel like that it's still the parent's job to, even if social media is addictive, it's the parent's job to make sure their kid isn't smoking heroin in their bedroom. That's the parent's job to make sure they're not on social media.
Thank you. My next question is to Annette. So you talked about how a lot of times social media is necessary to get jobs, and how a lot of employers will look on their potential employees' social media to see if they're mature. But more often you hear of an employer looking at a person's social media and being, wow, this person's an imbecile, I'm not going to hire them. So in that sense, social media actually hurts more than it helps.
You are further proving my point that social media helps impact the hiring process. And as no one has stated, when the parents lay the foundation before the social media gets out of hand, they will build up that professional profile. So it is more likely that they will get the job through this process.
In a lot of sense, there are a lot of older people who also have dumb posts. So as you grow older, you might not necessarily mature in what you're posting on social media. And saying that parents are involved and that they can limit these posts isn't ideal. And the reality is that a lot of times parents don't have the time to do this, or they're not being active enough in their lives.
Maybe it isn't ideal, but it should become ideal because parents, that is their job, is to take care of their teens and help them build responsibly and grow in this way. So that is ultimately on the parents to help them do so.
Well, we're not arguing about what should be ideal. We're arguing about what is reality. The reality is parents are doing that all the time. I have another question for Nolan. So, you talked about how parents are supposed to be responsible. You talked about how parents are supposed to limit cyberbullying, overusing, dopamine loops, good community, and making sure that they're having a solid foundation for all those things. And then you present it as a trust fund. That doesn't sound like a trust fund, it sounds like helicopter parenting. So how would a parent realistically and effectively be involved in their child's social media life and still build a trust bond by not being a helicopter parent?
Well, I feel like it's kind of more establishing yourself as a parent as more of a friend or a mentor than the hand of God to smite you or whatever. I feel like if you establish yourself as kind of a mentor and someone to help you, and if you explain to your teen why you are doing these things, then I feel like your teen would not feel as if they're being helicoptered.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is Will. Thank you all for coming out today. And today I'm going to be cross-examining the other teams for their arguments. Let's begin. Let's start with Ezra. So you stated that 16 was a good age for teenagers to have access to social media, but you didn't say why. So why is 16 such a good age for social media? And furthermore, when Sarah asked the same question, you did not answer it in your counter-rebuttal. So can you please answer it now?
Yeah, and Sarah, thank you for asking me that. That is thoroughly my fault for getting to bring that up. Thank you for pointing that out, and thank you for asking me so I can redeem myself. So, dopamine is most active in teenagers. And teenagers, despite the high dopamine impulses, whenever they become older, 16 to 18, as they're coming to that age, they begin to grow more responsible, and they can manage those dopamine impulses, and they grow this maturity where they can manage social media responsibly.
But can they, with parental involvement earlier, earn that maturity through social media with their parents?
I would say no because of how much the teens show resistance to their parents. They fall away from their parents. Parents struggle to get involved, and because of how much the dopamine impulses are in younger teens, it's just they are mostly incapable of managing social media properly.
Next, Maria. So you stated that social media was a huge time waster and should therefore be limited to teenagers. But why is it such a large time waster and more important to be restricted than other time wasters such as TV or video games or anything like that? What makes that such an imperative idea?
Well, I think the harms of social media, which we all just stated, they are very strong, whereas some of the other time wasters are not as large. And also, there's many time wasters, as you just stated. And why should we add another one, social media, if there's already so many?
Well, I think it's that why are we limiting social media? Because social media is such a large part of our world today that why are we eliminating social media more than these other time wasters? Because that would be a larger blow to the teen.
Because of the harms.
But all the others have harms, like people all the time get addicted to video games or TV. Why is this one so imperative?
Because social media can affect you for your entire life. And some of those other ones will affect you, say, your grades for TV. If you watch TV too much, your grades will go down. But if you are on social media too much, your grades will go down. If you're cyberbullied, you could be depressed and it could lead to suicide. So I think there's just more harms that outweigh pros for you.
Thank you. And lastly, Anna, you stated that kids don't want parental involvement and that they shouldn't have this parental involvement because it would hurt them. But do you mean by this that kids always get what they want? Do the parents always listen to what the kids want? That they should not, restrict social media because the kids don't want that?
For parental involvement, I'm saying that kids do not want the parental involvement. You guys were saying that it's building a trust bond when the parents are involved with their child. But we are trying to argue that the way that the parents are doing this is not building a trust bond between them and their child. It's making the child feel as if they do not trust them. If they have to constantly watch what they are posting on social media, does the kid feel as if their parent does not trust them enough that they would be posting good things?
Well, I feel like if the parent establishes this early on, well, as we have argued, that this would then, with the younger maturing mind of the teenager, this would then make them trust the parent because the parent is helping them avoid these harms by this guidance. Thank you. That is all.
Good morning, I am Val. Thank you for coming out. Today I will be concluding for the affirmative side, and we believe that teens under age of 16 should not have social media because first, you can get addicted due to the dopamine. Second, social media doesn't make teens more social. And third, social media can have a negative peer influence. Let's begin. First, Ezra talked about the harms of dopamine. Dopamine is a chemical that our brain releases, and it also makes us happy. The dopamine cues can activate dopamine, and when you get addicted, you get stuck in a loop. Second, he talks about the impulsive behavior. This causes you to act without thinking, so you don't think about what you're going to do or what might happen after you've done it. Third, he talks about parental involvement. He talks about how parents can't prevent everything. Second, Maria talks about how social media doesn't make you more social. First, it takes away from your face-to-face time with others,
And instead of going and meeting up with friends, you just get on social media because it's easier. Second, it hurts family life. Teens will hide in their rooms online. Frank Ferretti came up with the idea of bedroom culture, and they stay online in their rooms so that they can avoid their parents. This can hurt teens and parents' bonds because they aren't engaging in conversation. Third, she talks about how it is a time waster. You can get on social media for a break thinking that you're only going to be on it for 5 minutes, but an hour later you're still on it and you haven't gotten anything done. You could have been doing your homework or catching up with friends. Third, Anna talks about how the negative peer influence. First, she talks about the ideal versus reality. We have an image of social media being a perfect world, and you can get online and communicate with any of your friends, but really, it's not. Second, she talks about how it lowers self-esteem. You can get so caught up trying to fit in with others that you lose yourself. You try to change, and you lose your individuality because you're trying to be like your friends. Third, she talks about the issues of cyberbullying. Bullying can happen anywhere, and it's more common over social media though. You can hide yourself with a virtual wall so that the people you are bullying don't know who you are. There are many advantages to social media, but the harms such as it is addictive, social media makes you antisocial, and it can have a negative influence outweigh the advantages. Our opponent said we can avoid these issues with parent involvement, but parents can't prevent everything. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Josephine. I'll be concluding for the negative side. Let's begin. To conclude, the negative side believes that parents should allow kids under 16 to have access to social media. We have shown that its benefits outweigh its problems and that some of its problems can be solved. First, it is the parents' job to monitor what their kids are doing on social media so that if a problem arises, they will already be there. They can also use this as a bonding experience for the parent-to-kid relationship. They can also use this to help understand what their teen is going through and what they like and do not like, and it can be a great conversation starter. Second, teens can find community on social media. They can connect with faraway family that they have to make special trips to see, or friends that have moved away so they don't see every week anymore. They can also meet people with the same interests as theirs and maybe learn a couple new tips and tricks for their hobbies, or meet new friends. They can learn more viewpoints by debating with other people on social media about their beliefs. Third, it can prepare them for the future. It will prepare them for a future by learning about what other people believe, say, and do, and what they should and shouldn't say and do themselves. They can also use this for the future because most jobs nowadays are using it to check their social media for their jobs. To conclude, since social media is so prevalent, let us use it for teens to enhance them for the future. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I think one more round of applause would be. Well, I hope that you've given. We've definitely been given some food for thought here, and it's pretty tough. It's a very both teams did incredibly well. So, but I want you on your sheets just take a minute, and if you could say which in the end, which team, and not just which team do you personally agree with, but which team do you believe argued the best and was the most compelling vote for that team. So just put down which team, affirmative or negative, and that concludes our debate. We're so thankful that all of you came out today. Thank you for supporting our students by being here. As you can tell, they put a ton of work into this, and I'm really, really impressed with all of you. You guys did an amazing job. Thank you so much, and thanks for coming out. And that's it. You are dismissed. Once you give those and give them back to me, that's it.